Good afternoon, everyone. The shocking intrusion into the hallowed halls of Parliament in India truly comes as a shock to everyone. Shocking for the ease with which these intruders have managed to gain access into the Parliament halls. Several questions do follow, inevitably. To start with, this is definitely not a one-off action. It's not an impulsive action by a lone wolf individual. There must have been a lot of coordination and planning that must have actually gone on behind such an audacious act of the miscreants. In the immediate context, what I am really surprised about is how they have managed to gain passes even though a BJP MP has affixed his signature. Does it possibly have anything to do with the warning by the Khalistani terrorists settled in the United States, Pannu, some time back, that something is likely to be happening in Indian Parliament? That cannot be ignored. It's not just one person. There are about 6 people who have been involved in this, and at different checkpoints. I think a couple of them have actually stood outside the Parliament. I'm not sure about that. From what I actually see in the news, just a glimpse of it I actually happen to see. But there are certain things which are really very clear. That is definitely coordinated action, and at the behest of whom? Some group which is inimical to the BJP government administration. That it happens hardly about 4 or 5 months before the parliamentary elections in the new parliament, that raises further questions. But all of these questions are sure to find answers in the inquiry that is bound to be set up in the coming days. But over and above everything, I feel accountability needs to be fixed. The MPs will have to be, I'm actually going to the fundamental questions. These people apparently have waited for about 3 months to get a signature from the MP. So who is the person who has actually handed person or persons who have acted as a conduit between these two people, miscreants, and the MP? Can one MP sign for all the 6 persons to gain access into the Parliament? These are all questions that really readily come to my mind. I am no expert at all. I don't really know much about how things happen in the Parliament. This, as a layman, these are the questions that I get, and I do think many people would get. If it's more than one MP, does he actually do they all belong to the same political party, or do they all belong to different parties? Now, one of the things, based on whatever I know in the past about the way Indian political system actually operates in Delhi, influence, favoritism, these things do play a very significant role. The MP, by all accounts, do not possibly, like in most cases, do not personally know these guys, who they are. So the conduit, the person acting as a go-between between these people and the MP, would have surely assured the MP that these are safe people. They just want to see Parliament out of curiosity. I have actually gone into the old Parliament myself long back. That was actually by a good word put in by one of the bureaucrats in Delhi. So I was actually gained access to go and see the Parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, everything. So it doesn't really happen that commonly. The other thing that I want to talk about is in the construction, the design of the Parliament building, the visitors gallery, if they have been able to jump from the visitors gallery into the hall of Parliament, then possibly the height would not be more than 10 or 15 feet, otherwise they might have actually broken their legs. So they have been able to do it with ease, and so that's a security aspect that has possibly not been taken into account, like the DMK MP Kanimuri has said. So for once, I agree with what she says. It doesn't really happen every day. And there are 2 more points I want to say before I actually conclude. One, The MPs, as we all know, I don't really want to stereotype, but majority of the MPs are not basically very enlightened, well enlightened about the parliamentary procedures as it appears. And most of them are not basically, I don't want to say most, okay, again. Many of them possibly are not very educated enough or careful enough or evince enough interest to understand the parliamentary procedures and their own responsibility. So there really has to be a lot more training for the MPs to know their responsibility, realize their responsibilities, and particularly in the matter of granting passes to anyone and everyone, where favoritism should not have any place at all. So these are things that need to be done. Now in the immediate context, some accountability definitely has to be fixed on the particular MP or particular MPs who have actually chosen to affix their signature in favor of these people for granting passes. That's going to act as a deterrent for other MPs. Even if the MP happens to be a BJP MP, in the immediate context, he needs to be suspended when the inquiry actually goes on to know the truth and the facts. They all come out. Now, I mean, this would be an acid test for the BJP government, BJP administration, Modi administration. To what extent they are basically being impartial when they take action. This BJP MP, there has to be some action against him for the irresponsibility and casualness with which he has put his signature without obviously knowing the background of these guys who have all been social activists before, participating in movements which have been against the BJP government. So I do hope these things would be taken into consideration and enough appropriate measures would be taken so that these things are not repeated. Thank you.